What's up, Trash Talkers? What's up, Gruntworks Nation? We are live with your special pre-Thanksgiving VA loan updates. And with us, we got Corey. All right. Are you the new CEO, the new owner, the new partner?
New owner.
New owner. That is fantastic. Of Veterans Mortgage Source, powered by Canopy Mortgage. Now, those of you who've been watching our shows, our fight shows, and our Trash Talk Hour, and our Mental Health Warrior shows, appreciate you. But you've been seeing these QR codes on the bottom, and you have Veterans Mortgage Source, powered by Canopy Mortgage, and PCS to Paradise. Corey is the owner of this. So, Corey, welcome to the dumpster fire that is Veteran Trash Talk. How you doing, man?
Good to be back on here.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time since you've been on. But those of you who don't know as well, he is financing the operations that we have here at the dumpster fire. So everything that we do to help promote veteran-owned businesses and the ads that we place for those businesses when we do our shows, that is all funded and paid for by Corey. So we really appreciate that, man. And yeah, so to get started here, I'm going to give a little story, all right? Because I've been retired since 2022, and Corey knows this story. We had talked to him about a little pre-show.
Your favorite
but
story?
Nobody beat old First Sergeant to the office, right? Like, I was there. I got there at 4 o'clock in the morning, doing some boxing, getting, my workout in. And when I pulled up to the quad in Hawaii, it was, there was nobody there except for like my boxing coach. And there's the whole parking lot's empty. Right. And then you have your parking spots for Commander, First Sergeant. Right. And there's a car in my spot. I'm like, okay. Who's messing with me? What's going on here? All right. Like, there's literally nobody. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Who's parked in my spot? Right. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get over it because technically I'm not allowed to have a parking spot. But then I noticed there's a light on an Alpha company. I'm like, what the hell is going on in ACO? So I go up there, and here is old. Were you a first lieutenant yet?
I was a first lieutenant.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, "Oh, hey, sir, is that your car in my spot?" And he was like, "Oh, First Sergeant, yeah, it is." And I was like, I'm just, you have it today, because I'm sure that you need that shorter walk, your knees from all the jumping you were doing.
First car in the lot, I'm like, nobody's gonna be in at 4 a.m. I'm here working early. I'll move it before PT, and sure enough, the one spot I choose.
But I mean, again, I'm a regulation guy, so I'm technically not allowed a spot, so it is what it is. But absolute pleasure. He's a great friend of Veteran Trash Talk. Before he was financially, he was a great friend, just period. So really happy to, coordinate and work together and try to help as many people as possible. And there's a big system that I've always hit on our shows that everybody wants to say, well, if we just fix this, then we'll fix the suicide rate. If we just fix this, we'll fix the veteran homeless rate. If we just fix this, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that come into play. And one of them is taking some risk in life to get ahead, and understanding what that risk is. And also, should I buy? Should I refinance? What's the right time? What do I do? And I like to think that I'm educated on it, but I'm not a professional. However, Corey is 100% a professional, and we're really excited to bring this type of segment back to where we can give veterans on Gruntworks, Veteran Trash Talk, and anybody else who's watching, we can give them advice, free advice, right? And whether or not you decide to act on that, that's up to you. But Corey's not going to lead you the wrong way. And like I said, I know who he is. I know where he lives. He's not going to do you the wrong way. Trust me on this. But hey, Corey, introduce yourself. Let the audience know who you are.
So I'm Corey Doe. As you mentioned from our story, Nick and I, Big Earl, served together in 235 Infantry. So I'm a West Point guy. I was an infantry officer in the Army. I got out as a captain and ended up out. I was out in Hawaii, stationed in Hawaii, stayed out there. And when I was getting out, another guy we served with, Zach Farkas, who'd gotten out a few years before me, kind of pulled me into mortgage lending. And I had an economics and finance background in school. So as I was getting out, I wanted to do something with finance, something like that, and just kind of fell into mortgage lending, fell in love with it, and it's taken off. Over the last few years, it's just grown and grown. More recently, my old boss. Unfortunately, the guy who started it all up, he got diagnosed with brain cancer and was like, "Hey, I buy my company and run with it and grow this and, take my vision, which is, make sure every veteran knows about their VA loan and takes advantage of this program. And it's your show now." So I bought the company from him and the family and have been running this now for, we're almost at our year, a little less than a year here. Running the new show. We've retouched a few things, and kind of, our mission really is veteran financial readiness and veteran wealth building. And that's why we sponsor this show is, all of the money, all of the ad revenue that's going to veteran owned businesses, to veteran owned, helping those companies grow and get advertising and just, a little bit to help kick them off. That's what we're all about. And that's really what our purpose is we've seen so many people, they get their start, they build wealth through, I think the VA loan is the best benefit you get by serving in the military. In terms of just what it can do for you in terms of building wealth and setting you up for retirement and your financial future. I think that's huge. And with this show's, veteran suicide, I mean, one of the number one causes of suicide overall is financial stress. And, one of what we're really trying to do is help veterans, with simple things like the VA loan, which is, it's relatively not that complicated. Like own your home, turn in, get a couple investment properties, use the VA loan to help you do it. You can alleviate so much of that stress. I've had people call me crying years later, like they made, 100,000, 200,000, 50,000 and paid off all their debt, put some money in the bank account, started up their retirement accounts. Like the rewarding thing for me is seeing all those success stories of people that just took a little risk, that, trusted, this was a good move for them and their family. Seeing that pay off and these guys, financially succeed, is really awesome for us. So a little bit kind of about Veterans Mortgage Source now. So we have loan officers all over the country. We just opened, brought on two. It's all veteran loan officers right now, and our entire company is all vets. Army, Navy is what we have. Chicago. We're looking into Seattle here pretty soon too. We're probably going to have a guy out there. And really, what our vision is to be the number one VA lender and VA educators in the marketplace. And what we found in a lot of ways is, there's a lot of companies out there that they sort of use their name to take advantage, and Veterans United, Navy Fed are kind of the two notorious ones, USAA a little bit, where they have such a big veteran presence that veterans kind of instantly trust them. And there's some things that they do, like, with origination fees and other stuff. We don't charge any lender fees on any of our VA programs. It's one thing we're really, really big about. But what we want to do is just education first, because the VA loan sells itself, and then just offer competitive rates, no fees, and just make the process really as smooth and easy as possible. So the Veterans Mortgage Source is a lending company. We do all sorts of loans. We're powered by Canopy Mortgage, which is like our back end warehouse lines. They do all of our legal compliance, a lot of that.
Which they're awesome, by the way.
They are awesome. Yeah, we just did your purchase. They're really good. They started
my refi and my purchase.
Yeah, refi and your purchase. That's right. They started as a tech company, so their whole thing is, they're ahead of the game on integrating AI and doing stuff. And they're the reason we offer, more competitive rates and better terms is because they produce loans cheaper because they started as a tech company. They were the first lender when Costco wholesale used to do loans. They were the lender that was in there at the time when they started up. It's called Box Home Loans at the time. That's their kind of direct marketing. But they were in Costco. Costco doesn't do mortgages anymore, but back when they did, that's kind of how they got started. And they've just been, they've constantly stayed ahead of the curve. So I'm really happy that that's kind of our back end support team and our software that we use. And so what we have, and the reason you see Veterans Mortgage Source and PCS to Paradise. So Veterans Mortgage Source is very much our VA loan education, our VA lending arm of the company. PCS to Paradise is designed. It's basically a company to help soldiers moving. And right now, if you go on the website, you're going to see it's primarily only focused in Hawaii. We're rolling out 3 new locations here pretty soon, hopefully by the end of the year. We're going to have Chicago, Seattle, and Great Falls, Montana on there. And the goal of PCS to Paradise is really to be a moving resource and an education resource and a network of realtors, lenders, and even, veterans and spouses that can give tips on moving to these areas. You can almost think of it as it's like a specific Facebook group that helps, is all a veteran network to help make the moving process, the PCS process, just easier. Have, all that information at your fingertips. And also the other goal of that is to have people we've vetted, like realtors, for example, insurance people that are a part of those networks in those areas. So if you're like, hey, I'm in Hawaii, I've, bought my house with Veterans Mortgage Source, but we're getting out, we're moving to Chicago. I'd like to buy a house over there or, get help with rentals or anything. We have veteran businesses, veteran agents, and people who know the VA loan process or just in general are good vetted agents and service providers. You're going to be able to find them in our actual in this network. And that's kind of the goal of the thing is as it grows, that network expands and there's kind of an internal network of referrals, people that, can offer great things to people moving that have, maybe you're a veteran owned business out there, you're watching this and you have a construction company or a rehab company that, is in these areas. We want to get you on our page as a resource for, hey, if you need a handyman to help you with repairs or whatever, that's going to offer good, good prices, take care of people. That's the goal of this as it gets built out is it's a network of resources to help home buying, moving, just in general, being in these places, a better community of resources. Cause it's hard to find, even an auto mechanic and it's, you move to a new place, like who's a trustworthy,
who do you trust?
And that's what we're all about is getting people on there that we can trust, that people can know, hey, if you're in this network, you've been vetted by at least someone. You've talked to me, you've talked to people and, on our team in those areas that are like, this guy will take care of you. And that's what we're trying to do with PCS to Paradise. So for people out there that are watching this, we are constantly looking for people to help us grow this page. If you live somewhere and you want to get involved and you want to help us say, hey, we want to grow Dallas, Texas, and you want to tell us all the great things, all the people you love and trust about Dallas, Texas, hit us up. Let me know. We are trying to grow this, nationally, especially on the big hubs where a lot of people PCS are moved to so that people have resources and things they can trust right off the bat and know, like, if these people are in the network and they're doing people wrong, they're going to be removed. People are going to know about it. And that's our goal of PCS to Paradise. And if you're in the real estate industry and you're watching this, we'd love to talk to you about adding you to our team. Whether you're a realtor or a lender or insurance, if you take care of veterans and, have a track record, and get on the phone with me and we'd love to have you and grow this team out, both, lending, real estate, insurance, all sorts of service providers. That's the goal of kind of that's kind of the synergy between the two companies. Is as we go, we're looking to, help veterans with their VA loan, the VA loan education, and, getting a great deal on their financing, but also helping just the whole homeownership process and moving to a new place be easier. There's a network of people you can trust that you can reach out to that have vetted, all those things you need in life that it's just so hard to find when you move to a new place. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, a few things on that. That was really well done. You've come so far in the podcast realm.
I know.
It's almost like
Getting better.
Almost like you rehearsed that. It was massively awesome. Yeah, talking about the whole system of things, you hit a lot of things there. Insurance, handyman work, because anybody who knows who's sold a home or whatever, there's repairs that have to happen, and maybe you don't want it to hurt your buying power because of the VA loan. We get that on another show, but let's say that it comes back valued at a certain amount of money because of repairs, right? And maybe we have a repair guy on the team that's like, well, we can still keep it within that price range because I'll fix it for this, right? If this veteran really wants this home. But what I like about what you were talking about the whole system again is, why we started Veteran Trash Talk and started talking about a lot of things and started to vet a lot of people, a lot of nonprofits, 77,000 veteran nonprofits, right? You think that, yeah. And again, some people look at that as a negative to where it's like, well, how do we know which one is good? Well, we really don't unless we talk to all of them.
Yeah.
So what I can give you, the community at Veteran Trash Talk and Gruntworks, because the Big Earl, even though I shaved my beard today, we vet who we bring on, and that's the point of bringing them on the show. The good thing about Corey and Zach before him is we don't have to vet them, right? We already know them. They're very trusted, all right, extremely trusted. So you see those QR codes on the bottom. If you scan those, all right, they're going to take you to the websites, and then you can contact Corey, and you're going to get free info, right? And then again, message me, message the Big Earl at VeteranTrashTalk.com. Go to @TriggeredPansy. All right, that's that's Big Earl's page. Go to @TriggeredPansy. All right, message me privately saying, hey, I tried to talk to Corey. Corey didn't talk. He didn't respond to me. All right, I'll literally text him. All right, so you're going to get free advice. And then whether or not and what you want to do. And like we hit that earlier, I just did a refinance in El Paso, and we were either going to buy in El Paso or we were going to buy somewhere else. And he talked me through the whole process, made sure that I understood everything that I was doing. Like, hey, if you're going to buy this house, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. Right. And pretty much he did it anyways, right, for me, but like letting me know that, hey, this is what we have to do. So again, I trusted him with a very, very, very large purchase, right? And he handled it with no problem. I mean, the minor problems that probably are minor to him, they seem like, oh, crap, are we going to lose this house, right? And Corey's like, no, you're not, right? We're just going to do this. This is what they normally do, right? I'm telling you guys, no need to vet it. Go to Veterans Mortgage Source, powered by Kenny Mortgage, QR code right there, and PCS to Paradise right there. And speaking of Triggered Pansy, you brought something up, and like I said, we'll probably tailor this into another show some other time. We talk about it is USAA, right? Navy Federal. I can't stand them, right? I literally can't, after dealing with so much with housing, insurance, all that. They're extremely convenient. They have a corner on the market, right? Yeah. As soon as you join the military, there's USAA plastered everywhere, right? Especially in the Army. And again, it's real easy, right? Oh, you're like, but again, they are charging you fees. If you go right now to USAA and say, I want to buy a home, what are you going to quote me at? Do it. Please go do it.
Oh, yeah.
And then
go ahead. And then, go to Veterans United, go to Navy Fed. Yeah. I think where I also got disheartened on stuff too is I'd be doing, it's not just I'm doing loans for guys and they've got a Navy Fed car loan for 22%. And I'm like, how are you guys, doing 22% car loans at Navy Fed for veteran? Like you can't say that's doing veterans a favor. You're gouging the shit out of them on stuff like that. It's crazy.
Now, USA is great for officers because it was started by officers and it was supposed to be for officers because enlisted guys didn't make any money
Yeah, I
back in
still
the
have
day.
USAA. For a bank account. I use them for some of my insurance. And I think to their credit, I think they do a lot for veterans. They sponsor a lot of stuff.
Well, right, but where do they get that money to sponsor?
Right. I mean, but
Like,
they
why are you
make
sponsoring the
money.
Super Bowl, homie? Like, that shit cost $3 million. You could have lowered my
Yeah.
percentage point a
I
little
mean,
bit.
they got Gronk. They're paying Gronk a lot of money to run those USAA ads.
Yeah,
Somebody give
and again,
Gronk a USAA account already, please.
yeah, and there's different models of business, and obviously they're successful, but there's ones that where they'll spend so much money on advertising that they're not making that much money, but they're making their net profit.
Well, my
So,
little things, right? Like I don't think even just checking and savings. We're not a bank. We don't do checking. But like USAA, for example, I know, they don't have like a high yield savings that, your
right,
savings account makes like 0.1%, where like
right,
you go to Discover, Amex, online bank, and you can get like 4.5%
right.
in your high yield savings, and it's like not even an option on USAA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something like a power loan or something that has to be like $500,000 in
Right,
cash.
you got to do
Like,
like a seat, and maybe there's that their stuff always changes, but like even my USA bank account, I looked like, oh, the money that's kind of sitting here, like I'll move it into a high yield savings, and it's like you can make 0.05%, and I'm like, I guess I got to open another bank account and get a high yield savings then, because it's the stuff like that. It's the convenience. When you enlist or you enter the military, they borderline like make you sign up for those accounts.
right. And I used to do it with lieutenants like you. They'd come in and I'd be the platoon sergeant. I'm like, all right, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take that $25,000 USA loan out, right? You're
Yeah.
gonna max
Yeah. We
out.
did that. I did that in school. Yeah.
You're gonna max out two of those two IRAs. And so you're gonna do with that, and then you're gonna pay it back. like
Well, and
again,
that's where,
yeah.
yeah, they do a few things like that. And that's to get you hooked for life. You get that career starter loan. That's like 0.5.
But then they don't give the enlisted. Well, like I said, this could be a different show. They don't give the enlisted guy. They give us a senior NCO loan when you make E7 for like 4%. Like, come on, dude. Like, anyways, no, I kind of brought that up in jest just because USA triggers me a little bit. But when you're going to a home loan, whether you're refinancing or thinking about purchasing, thinking about selling, even, right? Message Corey, right?
Yeah, and
Just
even if we can't help you, I mean, we're licensed in 49 states. New York is the only state we don't do, but we do. I mean, seminars, educations. My guy in Chicago is doing a whole wealth building thing on multifamily and commercial properties. So if you're interested in the commercial property or multifamily space, he's doing a free veteran seminar on how to build wealth through multifamily real estate, calculate, all of the ratios and NOI, things you need to know about multifamily. So that's what we're trying to do. And that's why we're bringing on people that come from, they have a veteran background, or they're right now we only have veterans that work for us, but that bring in some of these different things where they're, his name's JD. He's super passionate about multifamily real estate. He thinks that's his thing. He loves it. And he wants to spread it with the world out there. Like, hey, use your VA loan, buy a 4-family, live in one. You can rent out the other 3. You're literally making money living in your home. It's a really cool thing. So if you're interested in that, by all means, we'll get you signed up for that. Message me, message Big Earl, and we'll get you on the multifamily seminars we're doing. So we're constantly rolling out stuff like that of really financial readiness, because I think if people are financially set, it takes away a lot of their problems. It takes away a lot of their stress.
Yep.
And they'll have better lives. Veterans already do so active duty, already do so much. They did so much for this country. And, we want to see those guys succeed and, just live comfortable lives. They've earned it.
Right, for sure. And then we got Michael Chapline from Vermont. So are you able to do loans in Vermont? You said only one state was New York.
Everywhere but New York. Yeah, we can do
Yeah,
them
Michael,
everywhere.
scan that QR code, Veterans Mortgage Source. Give Corey a message.
I don't think we've done a Vermont loan this year, so that'd be the first one.
You could be the first, Michael. Get after it. No, it's great because we talk about who you are on the show. We throw the plugs out, so it's good because people will watch this later. And then if you're listening on the podcast on Spotify and Apple iTunes and that stuff, Corey's finally on the show. Took him a while to get him on here, even though he was supposed to be on here 2 months in a row.
Yeah,
now.
I've been bad. I've been bad. We've been busy
You're paying for
a lot
it.
of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're paying,
busy helping.
busy helping a lot of people. Business has been good this year, which is great. And, but we're retooling a lot of our social media accounts. So you should see those up and running here pretty soon. We're kind of in the midst of a rebrand a little bit and kind of getting everything the way we want it now that, we've taken over, I took over all the ownership of stuff, just changing some stuff. So that'll start, I think, helping get the word out there a little better than we've done so far. We've kind of been drinking from a fire hose for a bit, but it's going great right now.
And then, Thanksgiving's tomorrow. So again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the family with Gruntworks and Veteran Trash Talk. And like I said, one thing I'm thankful for is the network that I built, in the military, and then with Veteran Trash Talk, just bringing everybody together. And I'm extremely thankful to Corey and how he helped me and my family move. And it was pretty much painless for me. And I can't speak enough about Corey. So that being said, before we close out the show, talk about the interest rate drop, and then what does that mean? Should you pull the trigger now? Should you wait? Like what advice would you give right now to somebody? Let's say in my position, we had like a 6% something loan, and then like what should we be waiting for? What's the signs for selling or refining?
Got it. Yeah. So kind of, it looks like the way the market's kind of been trading. So we had a nice little run up there. Rate cut happens, election happens, kind of a lot of volatility. Just if you've seen the stock market, Bitcoin, there's stuff kind of whips on all over the place. Rates had kind of trended back up after that first rate cut, primarily just unrelated. It's inflation, jobs data, other stuff in the world that's happening. Kind of triggered that. We're getting back down into kind of the low 6 range, I would say, for most VA loans. It looks like, based on where kind of things are headed, January, February of next year is when we should start making some progress on inflation, on some of these other things. President Trump will be in office come January. So, we'll see how the markets react to that stuff. We had a pretty good day this week when he announced his treasury pick. The bond markets seem to like that stuff. So I think as far as rates go, we should start to see them coming down, hopefully early next year. I think they'll start making some progress back down. Through the holidays, it tends to stay. There's not a whole lot that tends to move, unless you have a bunch of some crazy news happens or whatever. But I wouldn't anticipate them to change a ton over the next month or two. But come early next year, spring, I think they'll be back down in the, the fives, the mid fives is what it looks like. And the good thing today was from like the Fed minutes that came out this week, they're still on track to keep cutting rates. We can get into rates and how rates work in another show, but doesn't directly impact. That's the very short end of the curve. But it does impact mortgage rates, because as the Fed cuts short-term interest rates, people want to buy longer-term maturities like mortgages, 30-year, 10-year bonds. And that's what brings rates down, is as people demand more long-term maturities, it drives the price up and the yield down, which is the rate. So when they're cutting these short-term rates, it in turn as people turn to longer maturity bonds, which is really what a mortgage, you can think of a mortgage really is it's a mortgage-backed security. It's a bond
Right.
in function. That starts driving down the interest rates on the investor pool as the big investors that buy these big pools of mortgages. If you want to know a bunch about mortgages, I like The Big Short. They talk about mortgage-backed securities and how all of that stuff kind of came together. But that will start to drive down rates just by virtue of people wanting higher yield. So they're going to longer maturity assets where, the reason your high yield savings is so strong right now, it's because the short-term bond, the Fed interest rate, the interbank rate is so high. And that's basically what your high yield savings account rate is. So what you'll see too is as the Fed cuts rates, that high yield savings account you have or the money market account you have will start to come down in percentage.
And so I'll before I close it out, the last thing that I'll say from the Big Earl's perspective is I've always told people, correct me if I'm right or wrong here, if you can afford the mortgage, it doesn't matter what the interest rate is when you buy. And I say buy the house, refinance when they drop if you can afford it. Does that make sense?
I think I bought, I invest, I buy what I sell. I bought 2 places last year, one in March, one closed in August. And I think both my rates at the time, because they're investment products, were in the 7s because they're higher rate loans. And you find better deals this time of year. When rates are higher, there's just less buyers. There's less people who can afford, who can afford to buy, even if they want to. It's just the rates are too high. They can't qualify for the home they want. And so now is where I think you find really the best deals. And then once you own that home, you can always refinance it later. And there's a lot of, we can do a whole thing on.
We'll get into it, but I'm prepping it. Like, Big Earl says, buy if you can afford it. Yeah. Doesn't matter what the rate is. I'm just trying to get it to the community out there. Like I said, tell me if this is sound advice when I tell the community that if you're waiting for a 4 or 3 or even 2%, like we were getting back in the day, like that might never come.
You're missing out on the appreciation, and you can't control the rates. And people were saying that when rates were 2%, everyone was saying prices are too high, like the market's oversaturated. And then rates get too high, and people are like, the rates are too high. I'll wait for the rates to come down. Well, that's going to probably drive prices back up. So
if you're one of those people saying that, all right, click on those QR codes. All right, scan them. All right.
Yeah.
If you're watching later,
come talk to us. We'll sit here. We'll brainstorm. We'll talk your situation. We're really big on that too. One-on-one consultations. Even if you're just thinking about buying, I have people that are buying a year out and they just want to start prepping. We do credit repair. Like, hey, let's run a rescore. Let's see what we can do to boost that credit so that in a year, you're at, from a 550, you're at 680, and now you can buy a house.
Credit repair is going to be a good show, and then explaining loans will be a good show, or interest rates. So
we can do a whole deep dive on that stuff. So
many more to come. Trash talkers, go ahead. Sorry, Corey.
And let us know too. If you're watching this, let us know the topics you want to hear. We can talk back end. Real deep dive on rates. We can talk just the process, all the things to look out for. And really at the end of the day, my goal is that every veteran out there uses their VA loan. We want it to be with us. We think we do a great job. But use your VA loan. That's what really makes us happy. Is if every veteran would use their VA loan, I would be very happy.
Right, for sure. And then again, pay attention. We're going to start this up again. I had a blast doing these for about 6 straight months. We were doing them. Started to get a lot of traction. So Veteran Trash Talkers, Gruntworks, I'll start posting the events because we'll get this solidified on a calendar. And then you can start asking your questions then. Oh, we got MD Kaz coming on. Rates are what the rates are. A couple of that with low overpriced homes are now in many markets. There is no need to be house poor. Let's see here. Now, because the rates might fall in the future. All right. Well, that's it. We will MD Kaz, and he's from WTF. So we will definitely address that one on the next show because again, yeah, unless you want to address it now, it's fine.
No,
with me.
I mean there's not a lot of impact you can have on the rates, and so I think it's all about, you know, if you can find a good deal on a home and that works for the family now, I think over time what you're really building is that appreciation. And that's what you miss out on over time by waiting is, you know, you lose out on 5% appreciation for 2 years. That can be a lot of money that, you know, because rent at the end of the day, rent's 100% interest. That's all just interest.
Right.
You get nothing for your money there.
But hey, check out Kaz on WTF Radio. He's freaking awesome. I think are you still going live Friday night, Kaz? I think it's Friday nights. So yeah, check out Kaz on WTF Radio. Thanks for chiming in there. But yeah, that's it, guys. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Watch football tomorrow. We usually do a pick'em show here. So here's the Big Earl's locks for tomorrow.
Ooh, let's make us some money here.
Yeah, and we've been making a lot of money this year. If you've been following the fight shows and the UFC shows, I mean the UFC and the NFL shows, I like the Lions to actually cover 10. All right, they've been covering.
I'm in Michigan right now, visiting family, born and raised in Michigan. It's so great seeing the Lions playing as good as they've ever played in my dad's life.
Yeah, I mean, better than ever. This is the first time they've won 9 in a row since 1934. So
loving it. As a Michigan boy, the Lions couldn't be playing better football right now.
And now hear me out. You guys hate the Cowboys, but I said this last week. I go, the Cowboys are going to cover against the Commanders, and they beat the Commanders. I said they'll cover because their defense is back. All right. They have 2 all-pros on defense, not just, you know, Pro Bowlers, all pros. All right. They are game breakers. When Parsons is in there and now he's going against, I think, Drew Lock starting for the Giants, forget about it. Parsons is going to eat that dude up. There might not be a lot of scoring in this game, but take the Cowboys. And I was a little iffy on my Packers and the Dolphins coming in because the Dolphins are hot. But guess what cools down hot teams? 20 degrees at Lambeau. All right, that's where the Dolphins are coming into. So I like
Dolphins struggle in the cold. Look at Buffalo playoff. Was it Buffalo playoffs last year, right? Or where they're in the cold, in the snow, shut down.
And if you don't live there and experience it, and that first time you hit that ground or that somebody hits you, like, oh boy. All right. So Tyreek Hill, the cheetah. I think you're gonna do okay, but it's gonna be cold, homie. But I like all the favorites tomorrow. So here's how I'm gonna bet it. I'm going to bet a money line parlay, all 3. It pays like plus 170, not big. So I'm going to do all 3 money line, and then I'm going to go individual. However, here's my prop bet. All right, I'm going to say St. Brown scores a touchdown. All right, I'm going to say CeeDee Lamb scores a touchdown. I'm going to say Josh Jacobs scores a touchdown, and A-Chain from Miami scores a touchdown. And if you want to get saucy in there, put Gibbs in there for 2. That's really going to boost it. I'm going to do one of those for a little bit less money, but I'm going to do more money on those first 4.
David Montgomery? You're no David Montgomery.
I mean, Montgomery's, again, it's the Lions. Are they going to pass it? They're going to run it. But Gibbs tends to get more touches in the red zone. So unless they get to the goal line, right? So I'm going to say.
They're playing as Bears, though. His team, I think they might.
A little revenge game? A little
revenge game, yeah. Bears let him go. Lions picked him up.
I'm not going to hate you. I'm just saying what I'm betting. I'm going to bet St. Brown's going to score. I'm going to bet CeeDee Lamb's going to score. I'm going to go Jacobs and A-Chain, and I'm going to put a pretty good amount of money on that because I hit my six legger last week. So I'm going to roll that over. Put a good one on that. But that's how the Big Earl's betting. So enjoy football tomorrow. And remember, don't talk politics. All right, just don't. All right, nobody cares. And then don't be a triggered pansy when somebody says Trump won. All right, just he did. All right, just high five, drink your wine, go watch football. All right, so we will
all day tomorrow.
Yeah, we will see you guys next Saturday. All right. We're trying to get General Klein and Sergeant Major Campbell back on to talk about getting an award upgraded for a Vietnam veteran to a Bronze Star with Valor, which is really cool. So we're gonna get them back on because they had connection problems last time. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we will continue this series every month. So get your questions ready for your VA loans. We'll see you guys next time.